Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. I apologize. I am running just a few minutes behind today. What a crazy morning already. Some days just feel like you're swimming against the current and that you're never going to reach your destination. So I'm really glad that today's topic is titled Allow Your Path to Open for You, because I really need this message today myself. Everything can be flowing really, really well. And then sometimes it seems like out of nowhere, you get rocks in your path. And now instead of hiking, you're scrambling over boulders. Instead of being on time, now you hit every single red light on your way to wherever it is that you're going. And it feels like everything is working against you. I'm here to tell you that it might feel like that, and speaking to myself this morning for sure, that even in those times and in those moments, there is something for you in that moment. So I am going to be focusing on 3 different points today. 1, release pressure and step into flow, which can be really challenging. We're going to spend the most time focusing on that one. Rise above overwhelm, which also can be really difficult and challenging as you're trying to work through something. And how to live with inner freedom even when life feels messy. Before we get into that, let me introduce myself. I'm Georgia Davis. I am coming to you live from beautiful, scenic northern Utah, where we are literally within 13 to 20 hours from almost the entire West. We can reach the borders of Mexico and Canada within about 13 to 14 hours, and the ocean, which is pretty crazy. Great place for living if you're into adventures, and a lot of diversity in what you want to do with your activities. Okay, so let's get into this. Allow your path to open for you. I want you to just take a couple of deep breaths with me. Let's take 3, just natural breathing, but take really nice, beautiful, some deep breaths. All right, let's go. 1. Here's 2. And 3. Okay, thank you for breathing with me for just a moment. I definitely needed that. Okay, let's get into this. So, release pressure and step into flow. How do you release pressure? Is there something that you're holding on to that you need to let go of? Just think about that for a moment. And how do you feel when you're gripping really tightly to something that you don't want to let go of? Do you feel free? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel weight and heaviness on your shoulders? What's the physical response that your body is giving you when you're holding on tightly to something? And how does your body feel and naturally respond physically when you let go and allow? I don't know if you felt the difference between those two, but when I was thinking about and when I was asking how you feel when you're holding on to something, my body physically got more tense. Did you notice something like that as well in your body, in your thoughts or your mind or your energy? And then when I asked about letting go and allowing, how did your body feel then? My body felt like it was starting to relax throughout my entire body. My thoughts and my emotions became lighter. This is what we're talking about when I mention to allow that flow. When you let go, when you stop gripping so tightly, things begin to flow naturally in your life. And when you hold on and you're gripping too tightly, when you force timeliness or outcomes or certainty, it clouds your intuition and that natural flow. Flow, it doesn't mean doing nothing. That is not what flow means. Flow means that you are doing the next best aligned thing for you based on where you are. And sometimes this means that we need to shift and we need to change and we need to do something different. But still, we are doing what is aligned. And if you can figure out what's aligned with you, you're going to reduce a lot of tension and stress. Think about this. When I stop pushing the river, I can finally see where it's trying to take me. When I stop pushing the river, I can finally see where it's taking me. Stop trying to swim up current. It's not going to help you. It's not going to get you where you want to go or be. And again, talking to myself here, especially today, you don't have to know the whole path. You just have to see the next step. There's that great line by, I believe it's Martin Luther King, who said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the next step. And that's what we need to do. And sometimes that's really, really hard, especially when you have something specific, when you have basic needs that aren't being met, when you have a job that you don't like, when maybe the community that you're in isn't one that is aligned or supporting with where you need to go in life. So tune into these little things about yourself and your alignment with where you are. Let go of overthinking. Okay, all of you overthinkers out there, I really want you to tune in here. Overthinking a situation can be beneficial in certain situations and circumstances. Overthinking can be helpful when and if you're trying to see all of the different options that you have. It's great to know what all the different options are. But when you obsess about and you overthink about all of the different options and the outcomes, you begin to have this analysis paralysis, meaning you're not going to make a choice. You're just going to sit there and ruminate in what's going on. And that is not going to be beneficial for you moving forward. You need to know what's aligned with you. And then you need to act off of those things that are aligned with you. Alignment comes through responding to what's in front of you and the things that you need to manage and handle right now. Not necessarily everything else that you're going through. Not necessarily every possible outcome or situation. And that's where we as overthinkers begin to create more problems for ourselves because we're so worried about all of the things that can happen versus just focusing on the things that are the most aligned with us. Something for you to think about. What's one thing that you are trying to force right now? Maybe jot that down on a note. What's one thing you're trying to force? And then I want you to write down, what is one way I can release and allow flow instead of trying to force something? Flow requires a lot of trust, doesn't it? If we go back to this analogy of allowing the river to flow, when I stop pushing the river, I can finally see where it's trying to take me. If you're just floating down the river, trying to make sure that you're in alignment, sometimes the river branches. Maybe it goes to the right, or maybe it goes to the left, or maybe one goes into a pond or a pool and another one goes towards the ocean. Maybe you're meant for the ocean, but your journey down the river needs to prepare you for what the ocean has to offer. The ocean is an incredible place, but it's harsh and it's brutal and it's calm and it's full of life and it's full of abundance. And if you can allow yourself to go with the flow of the river instead of trying to force it or push it, you're going to come into the path that is best for you, as long as you're maintaining alignment with yourself. Whatever that alignment is, you are the only one that can control that. Nobody can tell you what your alignment needs to be. Nobody can tell you which direction to go. You know, sometimes in life, it's so much easier to just be like, tell me what to do. Tell me exactly step by step what I need to do and what I need to say, and life will be perfect. But that's two-part. One, we were never meant to be told what to do every step of our path or our journey. That was never, ever part of the plan. And two, you can't be told everything to do every single moment of the day, because the situations change. And what you say and how you respond depends on that situation. Now, I'm definitely not an expert at that. I am not a communication expert by any means. But when you allow yourself to tune into the situation, you're going to make better decisions than if you were not. Trust detours are part of the design. Detours that sometimes take us to places or routes that add a fulfillment, that add another piece of knowledge or information, that enrich us in one way or another. And that brings us strength. Trust that delays are not denials. They are not. Delays are teaching us something. Delays teach us self-control. They teach us patience. They teach us how important timing is. You don't want to force anything, and delays help support that lack of forcing something. Even if you don't understand it, even if it doesn't make any sense at all to you, delays are not holding you back. They're saying, just wait. Give it a moment. Allow things to line up in your favor. Trust that alignment feels lighter than force, because it does. Alignment has the perfect timing. Have you ever been in one of those situations where you get offered something really great? Maybe it's an opportunity, a job, maybe it's something you've been wanting to do for a long time. And it just happens at the right moment, the right time. Like everything is lined up and it's perfect. That is alignment. And what would happen if you tried to force that and make it happen sooner than what it should? What's going to happen? It's not going to work out in your favor. And it's not going to work out in the other person's favor either. So allow the shift to happen. Shift your thinking from, I need to make this happen, to, I'm willing to move with what is unfolding for me. Okay, the next one is rise above overwhelm. This can be a really challenging one. Here's a few quick points. Overwhelm is often unprioritized energy. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, make a priority list and work off of that list from order of highest importance to lowest importance. Regulate before you resolve. Don't try to resolve something if you haven't even regulated yourself. And as I think about this and as I've been preparing for this, I've been thinking that there's a lot of things that I try to resolve before I myself am regulated. And I force that situation, maybe unintentionally. Maybe the situation demands and requires me to make a decision and resolve something. But within myself, I don't feel regulated. And it doesn't go well when I make decisions out of unregulation. You are bigger than what you are managing. This one has such deep meaning. You are bigger than what you're managing. You manage stress, you manage people, you manage outcomes, you manage bills, household, family, you manage stress, overwhelm. You are bigger than all of those things. And if you can find alignment with yourself, you're going to move forward with grace, humility, and alignment. The last one that I wanted to cover today. how to live with inner freedom even when it feels messy. This one can also be a really challenging one. Inner freedom is not the absence of problems. You are going to have problems in your life every single day, whether they're easy, hard, somewhere in the middle. You're used to them. Running out of gas is a problem, so you got to gas up your car to solve that problem. You need money to eat and live and work, doing the things that you love and enjoy. It's a problem sometimes, trying to figure out how to make money and how to pay all the bills. There's always going to be a problem in your life. It might be, how do you get from here to there? What does your transportation look like? Maybe you've got bigger problems. Maybe somebody is angry at you and they're trying to take away something that you have. There's always going to be a problem there. People used to say, or I used to hear people say, money solves everything, which money doesn't. Money solves a lot of things, and I'm a firm believer that money solves a lot of things. But there's this belief that if you have more money, you have less problems. Well, that's not true. Your problems just get bigger, and you have to learn how to navigate and work through those problems, even when they're getting bigger. So inner freedom is not the absence of problems. Problems are always going to be there. You can hold peace and pain at the same time. And this seems very contradictory, but it's totally possible. It's possible to be at peace with your demons. It's possible to be at peace with pain and difficulty. It's possible to be at peace in any situation in your life. It's trained, it's learned. You have to teach yourself, find people that you can model that, maybe dealing with pain, but also live a life of peace. And tune into that. Figure out how to create that in your life. This is something that I'm honestly embarrassed to say, that sometimes I don't allow myself to have peace when I have pain. And it's so much more difficult having peace or having pain and not having peace. So something for you to look into. And freedom comes from identity, not circumstances. Your circumstances are not your cage. It's what's going on inside of here and what's going on inside of here that create freedom for you. It's understanding your identity and who you are. And then in every circumstance you find yourself in, you're going to have a different outcome when you can see that your freedom comes from your identity and not from the circumstances that you've been placed in. Circumstances don't make you happy. They don't make you sad. They don't make you miserable or fearful. They don't make you angry. It's what we feel inside and our identity. And if you can connect with your identity, if you can live an impeccable life in alignment, if you can learn to let go of all of the cognitive dissonance and live in alignment, some of these things will just drop out of your life completely. But it's learning how to trust yourself, learning how to recognize who you are, seeing your identity and who you are, what you have to share with those around you. That brings peace. And it will allow your life to flow naturally. The allowing your path to open for you is just going to happen because you know who you are and you know what direction you're going. And when you fight against that, you establish cognitive dissonance, and that cognitive dissonance is always going to negatively impact you. On the outside, you might be fine and you might be great and you might feel good. But as soon as you introduce something that's contrary to who or what you are, you'll begin to feel unhappy. And it snowballs. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get easier. It snowballs, and it becomes and creates more difficulty and challenge in your life. I want to leave you with this last thought, and then we'll do a breathing exercise. Your path doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. Your circumstances, your situation doesn't need to be perfect. What needs to be perfect is knowing who you are, knowing the direction that you want to go in your life, and knowing that you yourself, in all of your flaws and your challenges and, maybe your inadequacies, you are perfect. Your path doesn't need to be perfect. You are already perfect. You're perfect in exactly who you are every single day that you get up. And if nobody's told you today, look deeply into your own eyes in the mirror and tell yourself good job, because you made it to another day. If you have breath in your lungs, give yourself a pat on the back and say, great job. I love you. You keep showing up for me every single day. You show up for yourself every single day. No matter what, you keep getting up, you keep rising, you keep overcoming, however you're doing it. Yeah, maybe there could be some improvements along the way, of course, but you keep choosing yourself. Keep doing it. Don't give up. You've got this. I believe in you. I know that you are going to find the best path for you. All right, we're going to go ahead and do 3 breathing exercises. I want you to inhale peace and alignment. Hold on to that as we hold our breath for 5 seconds and let go of negativity. Here we go. Our first breath. Breathe in peace and alignment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let go of all that negativity. Here's the second breath. Breathe in peace and alignment. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. All the negativity off of your shoulders. All right, here's the last one. Make it your very best. Breathe in that peace and alignment deeply into your soul. And hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release the weight, the negativity. I don't know about you, but I just felt my entire body relax into that. Thank you so much for joining me today. Our focus next week has not been selected yet. I will make sure to get that posted within the next couple of days. And until next time, 9 a.m. Tuesday mornings at Mountain Standard Time, I will see you then.